it's Boy from Sweden, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at something I normally don't cover, which is leaks. Now leaks I don't normally cover because they can lead to nothing. It might just be something that Valve added, something that's old that people have found in the files that just never is gonna make it into the game. A good example of that is the Tomahawk knife that was supposed to come in CSGO but still hasn't been added to the game now like 10 years later, and that's just because sometimes leaks just don't mean anything. Well, in today's video I've gathered the best and most promising leaks that we have in CS2, the ones that have been worked on the longest, the ones that I think are the closest to being released, or the ones that are just the weirdest. But before I show you those leaks, I want to thank today's video sponsor, which is CS Money. CS Money is a trusted trading site and marketplace where you can quickly trade for a brand new loadout in just a couple of seconds. They have reduced prices in the trade mode and a huge selection of filters for their over 1 million skins listed that have instant delivery. They've got many payment methods like cards, PayPal, crypto, and much more, and you can always trade your skins if you can't deposit. Their market mode also has a feature with lower prices and discounts, as well as an instant sell feature where they recently increased prices on user skins so you can insta sell them and receive more cash to spend on skins or cash out. So make sure you try out CS Money from the link in the description, and thank you CS Money for sponsoring. Now let's get back to the video. The first thing we're checking out is something that I think is very weird. Volatile Cases. Now this all started with this guy tweeting whatever this means, where I guess he either has some glitch or somehow managed to like add this item to his inventory. It is a kilowatt case, but it says volatile. Now on any normal case, if it's trade protected, you can only preview it, and if it's not trade protected, then you can unlock or move to storage unit. However, here you can either inspect the collection or connect with arms dealer. Now what does this mean? Well, apparently it's a new type of case which is added to the code. It's not like an error or anything. And Gabe Follower, he does a lot of data mining and all this stuff, he says apparently this new volatile case allows you to buy one of the skins from the case instead of opening it. So you could just straight up buy any skin from the case that you want. Let's say I have a Dreams and Nightmares case and I want the AK Nightwish, I could just maybe buy that straight up. We don't know if it's gonna apply for golds, we don't know if it's gonna apply for all cases, but they made cases rentable and they added it retroactively for all older cases as well. So this may very well be something we see for the old cases as well. What if someone has a weapon case 1 and they just want to buy the AK case hardened or maybe the AWP lightning strike? Well, I guess you're able to. I don't know. Now we have no idea how you're gonna get them, if you get them just from the weekly drops, or maybe you buy them from the Armory Pass, or it's like a mission reward or something. No one knows. This could be very serious for the skin prices, depending on if the individual skins you buy, if they're tradable, marketable, or maybe they're like rented skins, they're just in your inventory and you can't do anything with it, but it's permanent. I don't know, but this is very scary. Next leak, clothing for your agent. Now leaks regarding clothing and agent customization has been a thing for a pretty long time, but most recently in this Night Ancient update, they mentioned it again here. You can see the different loadout slot clothing, and there's a ton of different ones like appearance, custom head, eyewear, face mask, hands, hat, lower body. Gabe Follower, without calling anyone out, says the leaks for clothing skins in the update has been a thing for a very long time. Wearables, like the clothing, was first leaked in 2016 with Operation Wildfire. So these ones, they're a decade old, and they reappeared in the latest update due to a compiler bug or refactoring. So that kind of kills the hope for that, but he does say, however, it's worth noting the developers did experiment with clothing skins around the release of CS2. However, he says it seems they've abandoned this idea for now. One thing that is interesting though, even though Gabe Follower says they don't work on it right now, something that could tie into that is in CS2, in an update, they added a lot of hair-related dev material. Maybe in the future, if they add wearables or customizable agents, you'll also have custom hair. Next leak is something that's been referenced in the code many times, and it's something very weird. It's chickens, but not any type of chicken like we have today on maps that just walk around and you can press E on them and they become your chicken and follow you. No, they're taking it a step further. They're adding chicken skins. And I think the whole concept is pets. This all started with a leak from 2024. Looks like we're getting baby chickens in CS2. And he says whether these are types of pets or just roamers on maps is unknown. Well, now it's known. You can see over the months, Valve keeps referencing pets or pet population or so in the codes. And they even mention an egg_pristine that you can place somewhere. And this is most recent in the end of July 2025. They added animations for these pets. This is what those animations look like. The character holding something that looks like a pet. Well, that's where the chicken is gonna be. So I'm not sure if this is actually gonna be a thing, but it seems like they've been working on it for quite a while and they've now added the animation. So I guess this is going to be added. But one thing seems to be certain, the way you get it is through the Armory Pass bidding system, which is another new leak. Now, the leaked Armory Pass bidding system is very weird and I don't fully understand it. But Gabe Follower tweeted, new Counter-Strike 2 update mentions some sort of bidding system related to in-game XP. Well, now people kind of have figured out it's not the XP, it's the Armory Pass stars. Another leak includes localization for the bidding system in Armory Pass, where you'll be able to bid stars to win limited time items. Perhaps similar to how we now have a limited edition item. In the future, you might be able to bid on them in order to get them. Before I explain how it apparently seems to work, this is a guy who made a kind of version that's what it's supposed to look like when you're bidding on an item. So it says bid on this offer, and then you click it, and there, you see down here, you can choose how many Armory Pass stars, I guess it is, that you want to bid. So it seems very weird, maybe not fully finished, but from what Gabe Follower said in his video, if you bid on an item, you don't actually see other people's bids, and the highest bidder wins, which is hard to do because you don't know how many stars other people have bid. And apparently, if you don't win, you don't get your stars returned. They take your stars anyways. I don't understand if all of this is true. This seems like the worst auction system ever, but I'm sure something is gonna change and that's not gonna be the case. This is a very weird system and I'm both excited and worried about how it's gonna be added and what it's gonna mean. Now, the next leak, which I really believe will be added, in my opinion, it's Snowy Cobblestone. Now, when CS2 first released, I was very hyped for the map pool because for some reason in like the leaks or the data, it showed DE_Cobble_source2. Obviously, that is very cool, but it's still not added. Well, maybe now we know why. Already back in 2023, there was a leak about Cobble maybe being added or re-added, remade with a snowy theme. You see Cobble, snow, snow fresh, and a bunch of different material. This was further confirmed in 2025 with the leak of the actual snow textures that were added in connection with Cobble. And even more snowy materials were added, and they're also, you can see, from the map Cobble. Now, the reason why I think this update is more likely to come is because we just had Ancient remade with nighttime and rain. Snow for Cobble? It's not that crazy if it would be added. Another leak I'm very certain is coming, but I'm not that excited about, is Retakes. Now, Retakes was a pretty fun game mode in CSGO, and that's also why I'm not that excited for it in CS2. It's already been so long, and I just can't hold up the hype for a game mode that's decently fun to play for that long. Back in the end of 2024, we got some files relating to DE Train Retake, and then this guy apparently made the game mode fully functional by just replacing a TXT file, and you can see it looks pretty similar just to old retakes in CSGO, which is fine. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because just now a couple days ago, strings related to CS2's retake game mode reappeared again. So they're still working on it. It's probably a game mode we're gonna get maybe in the next 1, 2, or maybe 3 updates. Big updates, I mean, not just patches. The next leak, CS2 cache. It's no secret that FMP1 made cache for CS2, and it was quite a while ago when he added it to the workshop. I even made a full video about it where I played it and I talked about it, but since then, he hasn't really updated the workshop map, which might be a little scary. Well, it's not actually scary because the reason is pretty simple. FMP1 tweeted, "Thank you for playing Cash, thank you, blah, 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 blah." And then CS2 retweeted it with a handshake. And this basically confirms that Valve bought the rights to Cash for CS2. And back in May, they even referenced it in their update patches as well. You can see DE Cash being added. The reason we're not gonna see Cash soon is because the map wasn't really done when we checked it from the workshop, and a lot of new smart props were added for DE Cash Source 2. Now, what does this mean? Valve bought the map basically to rework it completely to make it perfect, because I don't think they just want to release Cash for just a few weeks to have in the map pool. I think obviously they want to add it to the active duty map pool for the long run, which means they want it perfect according to Valve standards. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna see first, if it's Cobble, if it's Cash, or some completely different map, but that at least shows that Valve are working on both Cobble and Cash. Now, the last leak that we have today, which I want to mention, is Minigames, specifically surfing. Now, this all kind of started for me when they started mentioning surfing inside of the update logs. They added speed-sensitive sounds that play while surfing. And it's not only surfing that's being leaked or teased, it's minigames of all sorts. Apparently, back in 2024, they were mentioning VIP game modes, meaning the assassination game modes from like 1.6 and early versions. Also, back in late 24, they added a new map type in the world spawn called Minigame. And you can see it's an actual map type that you can select here called Minigame, which is pretty cool. And finally, this is just from a couple weeks ago. I think this is interesting. They added a golden football, like the one we have on Dust 2 in T-Spawn, which you kick around. They added a golden one. Why would they do that unless they're planning maybe a football game mode, which was actually a huge thing back in 1.6 and Source? Could that be a minigame we see as well? I don't know, but minigames overall, whether it be football or surfing or escape, death run, I think that would be really cool and add a lot of fun to CS. Now, yes, there is a ton of other leaks relating to many different things and skins and game modes and just mechanics, etc. But these are the ones that I could pick out that kind of made the most sense, that also got attention or new code added recently. Now, I'm gonna put a timer to rewatch this video in like a year or two. Maybe I got them all right, maybe I got them all wrong, or maybe they'll just go ahead and fucking release CS3 at this point. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna fuck my chicken pet.